Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another action-packed episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I am your host, Brent Piles, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner from across the ocean and from the future. He is the barroom brawler, disco dancer, dynamite church, and intercontinental player, folks. He's more over than Randy Orton in Germany. At Jerry Russell, Glenn. Glenn, how are you?
Couldn't be more over than that.
No, I don't know if there's anybody. I mean, he was more over than Gunther.
Yeah. I suppose it's because, he's an old established name and people hadn't seen him now.
Yeah, it'd probably been a while since they'd seen him. Yeah. It's funny that I think that people used to universally think that Randy Orton was a prick and not like him. And now I think Randy Orton is like now universally known as a fucking great, awesome guy and everybody loves him.
Oh, God, yeah. To quote somebody that we know very well from these shows, it seemed like a couple of years ago he regained his smile.
Yeah, I want to say that. So when I first started doing the show a long time ago, we had another guy from another show on. This was fucking in like 2017. So I'm talking the early days where the only person that listened to AWI Pod was Glenn.
It's me.
Yeah, we had a guest on, and he lived in like the St. Louis area, which is where Orton is from, and I think is where he lives when he's not, whatever, or he used to. And he said that Orton came into his the store that he worked at. He said that he was freaking really nice and really awesome to everybody. And he made a note that I noticed this too. But like since he's got the wife that he's with now, since he got together with her, and they have made their life together, and he's had kids, he seemed to have grown, as a lot of us do. I'm sure. I know I was a fucking moron, stupid idiot who only did dumb things until I met my wife and had kids. So I totally understand. I totally get it. I was the same way. I'm still stupid and do dumb things.
Find the right woman, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to find the right person to.
In my long life, I've been lucky. I found two.
There you go. I'll never find another one, so hopefully I can hold on to this one forever. Sometimes you just need somebody.
You two are young enough to stay together forever.
That's true. That's true. But anyway, I don't know how we get here because I said Randy Orton. I was like, how did we even get to talking about the transformation of Randy Orton? But because I said you were more over than
because you said I was more over than him in Germany.
That's what it was. That's what it was. But yeah,
we'll be talking about the Bash in Berlin, I'm sure, with the mayor. So
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think the mayor even watched it.
Oh, right.
Because I messaged him and I said, well, you'll have to change your name to Hail Mary for the next show because you got it right. And he said, did I get them all right? So he must. And in fairness to him, the Nebraska football game was on during the Gunther-Randy Orton match. And so I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the Randy Orton-Gunther match either. So the rest of the show was fun.
Well, I've only seen it through highlights.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, too. I wasn't sure if you'd have been able to watch it.
Because, as you know, I only got my laptop back yesterday, so I've only seen like highlights of it. But
from what I
will catch up a bit more with it before we discuss things with the mayor later, so you're not talking totally into the void.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're talking about Randy Orton versus Gunther, I will be talking into the void because from what I've seen, I think that was the best match in the show, which I don't think anybody was going to question that was probably going to be the best match.
No.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that when we. You want to talk about yellow cards, Glenn?
I think it's all been said.
I mean,
I really don't want to sound like a whinging Arsenal fan, which there's been plenty of, but justifiably for a change. Yeah, right, let's clear something up to start with. You asked the question on the threads.
Yes.
Could a football expert? Well, I'm as near as you're going to get.
Yeah.
I played football for 50 odd years.
Right.
So that was never a free kick because the ball was rolling.
Right.
The ball has to be stationary. If you're going to take a quick free kick, what you need to do is you put your hand on the ball, you hold the ball, and then you kick it away very quickly.
Which is what I've heard people who
don't
play
kick
football say. Football players, I've heard all say this exact same thing when they're talking about it.
Yeah,
So,
you don't kick it at a player that's retreating from it, and then follow through and kick him.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you watch it too, so whatever, Declan takes him down, they call the foul.
Yeah.
The guy kicks the ball. He kicks the ball first. It rolls hits Declan like in his heel, and then Declan kind of, as any footballer does, if the ball comes near you, you kind of just give it a little tap. It's just what you do. And then he goes to kick the ball, completely misses the ball, and just takes out Declan's leg. And if you watch it from the reverse angle that they have on Arsenal.com, you can totally tell that he didn't even go for the ball. He's trying to fucking kick Declan in the leg.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
So if anything, it should have been the other one that got the red card and not Declan.
Yeah. And the thing about, too, like, Declan wasn't even calling for someone to get a yellow card or a red card. He's just trying to collect himself.
That's
and
right.
then it seemed as if two Brighton players who propositioned the referee to give him yellow cards.
Yeah.
And pretty sure that to the letter of the law, which is what we're talking about here, to the letter of the law, neither one of those guys are the captains, and they both should have been given yellow cards as well for talking to the ref.
Exactly. There were so many things wrong with that, and you can understand why people have got their knickers in a twist over it.
It's all stupid, because if you're going to give yellow cards for people talking to the ref when they're not supposed to, or yellow cards for people delaying free kicks, you're going to have a fucking game where 4 or 5 people get sent off, because it happens that often.
That's exactly it.
And it's stupid. If you're a football fan, I don't care what team you like. This should piss you off, because it could be your team next.
It's exactly.
I don't care what team you're a fan.
Yeah, and those that are defending it have probably had their team come up with something like it over the last couple of seasons, because these decisions are getting more and more regular and more outrageous.
Yeah.
This was just the most egregious one of the lot.
And we're only into the 3rd week of the season.
Yeah. Thankfully, there's a 2-week cooling off period now. And I sincerely hope that Arsenal are going to repeal that second yellow over this next 2-week period.
I was
back to the London Derby.
Mikel Arteta was able to hold his tongue after the match, because he'd be getting fines or suspended, but he managed to keep the hold it in. So.
Hasn't he come on since the 2 seasons ago when he was getting booked every other week?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah. So I also don't think it's too terrible of a tragic thing that we got. We got 1 point out of it. I know 3 points is the goal, but we did get a point.
It was a good battle in display for 10 men against a team like Brighton.
Yeah, the only thing I will say is I thought maybe they should have put Calafiore on a little sooner. I figured as soon as Declan got sent off, we would have put Calafiore on to try to do that, tougher back line. What do you think they should do? I guess we'll hold that off till next week. Next week we'll talk about maybe what they should do in the North London Derby.
Yeah, because we've got plenty of time.
Yeah, because we'll have
2 whole weeks.
Yeah, we'll have to have something to talk about soccer football related next week. So we'll do that. We'll discuss possible starting 11s with Declan being out, and now it looks like Marino is going to be out for at least 2 months, so he won't be back.
Bloody Gabby fell on him.
Gabby is a unit.
But I'm still not sure that this is not a work,
I was hoping the same thing too, but when they said he was going to be out until October, I figured that it must not.
Yeah, I suppose.
But yeah.
And anywho,
let's get into it. It is Raw is War from February 2nd, 1998. Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana. The Market Square Arena opened in 1974. It was the longtime home of the Indiana Pacers of the National Basketball Association from 1974 until 1999. It also held the NCAA Men's Final Four in 1980. And this is also the arena that held the infamous time that Andre the Giant won the WWF Championship from Hulk Hogan during the main event on February 5th, 1988. That was the whole fake referee thing. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
That led into WrestleMania 4 tournament. That all took place at this arena. It also held the In Your House Buried Alive pay-per-view from October 20th of 1996, as well as many house shows, Raws, Nitros, and Thunders. This arena did close in 1998 and was demolished 2 years later in 19.
So you can't go and visit it now then.
Yeah, so there are no events taking place at this arena. Can't go. And we are now indeed 8 weeks away from WrestleMania 14. Only notable sign I saw a lot of signs, but none of them were very good. Only good one I saw was Stone Cold eats Tyson chicken, which is a Tyson.
Yes, I saw that one. I had a note of that one as well.
It's not Mike Tyson's chicken. It's a noted chicken brand in the United States.
Yes, I gathered that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they had Tyson chicken over in the UK or not.
Not as such, no, but I guess that was probably what it was.
Yeah, it's a chicken brand. But yeah, me and Glenn kind of talked about this before the air, but this is like it was a weirdly entertaining show.
It is. This show today actually sums up the title of our show. There's good, there's bads, and there's some bloody ugly.
But I did think that there was more good on this than bad or ugly. I mean, some of it was ridiculous, and then there's going to be some stuff on here that if you looked on it on paper, I would have went, oh God, that's going to be awful, and I don't want any parts of that. But when you watch it, it's actually pretty fucking entertaining. So
it was, yes. Yeah.
The first thing that I had on my good is I enjoyed the whole opening DX thing when they're, saying that, we'll do this from the hours of 8 to 9 and this from the hours of 9 to 10. I thought it was pretty funny the way that they kind of made fun of themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, I had that as a bad.
Oh, well, so you can't agree with everything.
No, that's right. It's that sophomore humor again that we've been going on now since 1998 started, and
maybe this was my speed of sophomore humor. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Now, the most amusing part was where Triple H quoted Bill Clinton, said he was up all night.
Oh, that was Shawn Michaels that said that. Yeah, I did not sleep with that young intern. In fact, I was up all night.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was funny. I thought it was cool the way they were like cutting it out. And then when they were like, well, fuck, well, don't fucking say that. What the fuck's wrong with you? And he said, well, fuck me.
Yeah, it was probably all right for the time. But
yeah, apparently the USA Network had gotten in trouble multiple times from the SEC or some of the things that DX had done, and so this was like their
reply to it.
Their reply to it. Yeah. And then immediately we get into Cactus Jack versus Chainsaw Charlie in a no DQ Falls Count Anywhere match.
Well, before that, we get DX dressed as Uncle Sam.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
It's trying to sell. Now, this bit, this could have been in the bad column, but it isn't. It gets into the good column. And it gets into the good column for one reason. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, so I kind of had this one as like half and half. So I had the DX stuff as bad.
You got the DX out there being practiced, dressed up as Uncle Sam with all the balloons and everything, which haunted the rest of the show, by the way.
Yeah, because the balloons were everywhere around ringside after that. They were everywhere. They didn't clear them. They said, fuck that.
They have their banners or their signs up with Austin versus Tyson, and you think, why are they trying to promote this? And then Austin comes out, cuts a great promo, and explains it all.
Yep. And that's
if he's concentrating on Mike Tyson, then Shawn Michaels is getting off scot-free.
Right.
Basically, he said, I won the Royal Rumble. I'm entitled to get my hands on you, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll fight Tyson anywhere. I'll fight you anywhere.
Yeah. It was good because we actually, because I think up until this point, I don't think we'd have really gotten anything between Austin and Shawn Michaels yet. So it's finally nice and about time, 8 weeks away from your biggest show of the year, where you finally get the two guys who are going to be in the main event to actually, have some friction with each other, because up until this point they hadn't had any. So, yeah, it was weird at first when they came out, because I'm getting like 4th of July vibes, and it's like fucking February. So,
yes.
But then they were like talking about like, oh, it's like a political debate, and then so it made sense. So yeah, it started off bad, and then like you said, when Austin came out, it then turned to good, with Austin pretty much explaining the whole situation. And yeah, I thought it was nice and high time that these two finally had a face-to-face. So that was good. And then we got into what I said, Chainsaw Charlie versus Cactus Jack.
King of the Hardcore contest.
Which I found to be a bit ridiculous for them to say that, because they showed us that these guys had like barbed wire ring matches, exploding ring matches, but yet this is going to be the one that decides who's the king of hardcore. No, I don't.
Yeah, and it was never ever going to live up to those hypes.
Yeah, no, because they're not going to do that on fucking national TV anyway.
Not at 8:10 in the evening. No.
Yeah. I also like they did a really good like interview with Foley and Funk before the match, where they tell them, about 10 years
as
ago.
themselves, which was good rather than in character.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, about how 10 years ago the world heavyweight champion at the time, I assume he's talking about Ric Flair, told Mick Foley that no one cares about you, and that high flying stuff's going to get you in a wheelchair by the time you're 30. I'm just assuming he's talking about Ric Flair, just because he said back 10 years ago, which would have been in 1988. I'm pretty sure that Ric Flair was the world heavyweight champion back then. So, yeah. And then Terry says that the winner of this match will be known as the King of Hardcore. Yeah. Terry brings a bin out with a bunch of stuff in it, but the Cactus Jack says, hold my beer. That's not a garbage can. This is a garbage can, and brings out a full fucking fledged dumpster with shit full of it.
Yeah, a full bit of dumpster. That was so good. And it led itself to something which was, it's that if there's a gun in the room, it needs to go off at some point.
Yeah, if I see a gun in Act 1, somebody's got to get shot in Act 3. Yeah,
that's it.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not being like your former co-host, so I'm not exactly sure. But I think it's
never am. So
I'll go ask my son. He does school plays. I'm just kidding. He'd be like, I don't care, Dad. Get out of my room. Yeah. Also, like Chainsaw Charlie went for an inside cradle during this match, and then they both rolled all the way down the ramp, which I found
it's like the little try at the roll up, and just rolled down the ramp instead.
Yeah, I thought that this match was a lot of fun. It didn't go on for. It seemed a lot shorter than it actually was.
It was because it was quite entertaining. Those guys, they definitely laid into each other with those trash cans, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure anybody got hurt themselves. Hurt anyone hit with those trash cans? I'm pretty sure they're made of like aluminum or something. But
but
these guys tried.
They tried, yeah.
Yeah, I like the Cactus Jack put a trash can on Terry Funk's head and then gave him.
Talk about bad production, though. He, by all rights, Terry Funk should be dead from that.
Oh, yeah.
Trash can on their head and then a pole driver. But we come back from an ad break and they're fighting up the ramp as though nothing had happened.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I remember thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually they're on a ladder, and Terry Funk ends up going into the dumpster, and then Cactus Jack climbs up on the Titantron, and he jumps off the Titantron into the dumpster with an elbow onto Terry Funk. And then what happened, Glenn?
The New Age Outlaws happened.
They certainly did.
I had a feeling, not remembering this, I had a feeling that this was going to go all sorts of tits up. But it actually didn't.
Well, yeah, it wasn't bad.
Because what they did is they did the most heelish thing that they could do, was to seal Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack in the dumpster. Anyway, they see them in the dumpster.
Yeah.
And then they tease to push it down the ramp, but decide to push it off the edge of the stage instead. Which was amazing. Which is... Sorry.
No, you're good.
Which is amazing. Because you think they're dead. You got to think they're dead. The trouble with this was it went on for far too long.
Yeah.
It went on for the rest of the hour.
Yeah, and that's not an exaggeration either. It literally went on. They didn't stop it until we saw the pyro and shit for hour 2. Literally.
That's it. That is it. And then the first thing to do when they get back from on hour 2 is they show the replay of it.
Yep. Immediately.
Just in case anybody hadn't seen it in hour 1.
Yeah, just in case you were watching Nitro for hour 1. And also, like, this is like a time where you don't want people to switch channels. And I think you gave people prime channel switching material right there. Because, like, I understand, like, it's a good story and everything, but, like, you're pitching this to 14-year-olds. I was 14 at this time. That would have lost my attention. I would have watched everyone standing around while the paramedics loaded them in the ambulance for about 2 minutes before I would have went and saw what was happening on Nitro.
That's right.
So yeah, it did go on for a bit too long.
So that's on the bad side of that, but the rest of it was really good.
Yeah, they
it's given DX, not DX, the New Age Outlaws, some really good extra heat, and then DX came out and laid into the Outlaws, not for doing it like everybody else was up in arms about. But the fact they didn't do it properly.
Yeah, they were upset that they didn't do it a little more.
So we're getting this tease that now the New Age Outlaws are going to join DX. So that's a nice little build to that story. So that gets a good from me.
Yeah, it's all going to get a good from me too. While I did go on a little too long. One of my favorite moments is you can hear Terry Funk screaming, "My neck! My goddamn neck! Those motherfuckers!" You can hear him yelling. Your mother's a whore! He didn't say that, but he wanted to.
Yeah.
Vince was out there. They're like, "Oh, we didn't mean to hurt anyone," which I thought was strange. He pushed the fucking dumpster off.
Sonny was acting her heart out, bless her.
Oh, God! She was crying like somebody told her vodka was all gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were. Then, like, people started, like, trying to go after the Outlaws. Like, I think Flash Funk was one of the first ones that was trying to go after him. Which that makes sense because, as you know, Flash Funk is one of Terry Funk's cousins. So he's in the Funk family. Flash Funk, cool. Terry Funk's their cousin.
Yeah, so he would be a bit upset.
Why wouldn't he be upset? Yeah. Finally, they load him in the ambulance, get him out of here, and then they show the New Age Outlaws in the back, and then DX shows up and tells him, shit happens. Move on. Basically, is what they said.
That was basically it. Yeah. So
sometimes you get fucking thrown in a dumpster and pushed off the stage. It just happens. Okay.
Another good bit coming up.
Yeah, I agree.
Owen Hart versus Badass Billy Gunn. And what I love this right from the beginning is Road Dogg comes out, starts the "oh, you didn't know," and it's "oh, fuck it."
Yeah.
Because everybody's booing them.
Yeah, nobody wants to hear their shit anyway. Yeah.
And Owen treats this like it was his family that had been pushed off of that stage.
Yeah. Owen act like they took every cat in the Hart house, threw him in that dumpster and pushed it off. That's how mad Owen was.
That's it. That was brilliant. Got two good wrestlers there.
Yeah.
You know there's going to be interference. So we're used to that, especially at this stage in 1998.
Yeah.
But what they did in and out of that ring was really good.
And it was 5 minutes and 25 seconds. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you compare it to every other match in the show, that's the second longest match in the card.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I probably could have watched Billy Gunn versus Owen Hart for 20 minutes because it was really, really good.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Owen got the sharpshooter on Billy, but then immediately Road Dogg hits the ring and starts attacking him. And then it makes sense why DX cared so much about what the Outlaws are doing, because they come down and join in with the Outlaws on beating down Owen. That's not the last time these guys have
teamed up. So that's come full circle as well, that we're back to DX versus Owen.
Yeah, and I think even if you look at it now, even if Shawn Michaels doesn't get hurt and DX goes in a different route, I still think these guys would have joined DX probably after WrestleMania regardless.
Oh, yes. Yes, so do I.
And I don't remember, I don't really remember me thinking that in that period of time, because I feel like I was surprised when they eventually did join DX, and now I realize that I was just a dumb teenager.
Yeah, that's it.
Because they're definitely laying the groundwork for it.
I also enjoyed the bit up on the stage where they're threatening to throw Owen off the stage.
Oh yeah, that was good too. Yeah.
Triple H is going that way into the crowd.
Yeah, they were like, they were doing the whole thing where you grab his arms and I'll grab his legs. They were fucking swinging him.
I should imagine I was laying there going, for fuck's sake, don't drop me. Don't let me go. Don't let me go.
Don't let me go. Yeah, a bunch of officials luckily come out and stop it from happening. But yeah, another good little bit of this show. I also they did like a promo, back and forth promo between Barry Windham and he's back to being called Justin Hawk Bradshaw. And I mean, when I first saw this on the screen, I thought, oh, this is going to be awful and I'm going to hate it. But I was great. I thought Bradshaw was really good in it.
It was good.
I tend to not try to put Bradshaw over very much because he's a real C word in real life, but he was great during that.
I know. Back in the day, he blocked me on Twitter just for talking about rugby. And you know how much he likes rugby.
I think he blocked everyone on Twitter who tweeted at Mauro and Narlo, and him and Mauro were having their issues because he blocked them. I'm sure I probably called him a fucking asshole. And
I didn't do that. I was talking to him about rugby and he just suddenly blocked me. No.
Oh, I'm sure I called him an asshole. That's probably why I got blocked. I got blocked by Vince Russo too, but I deserve that one. I was asking for that.
Anyway, that brings us nicely on to the arsehole of the week. Marvelous Mark Merrow.
Oh yeah.
With the only bit that's worth mentioning in this segment, Sable.
This was the only part of the show that made my ugly list, Glenn. This is the only part.
God, how could it not?
Yeah.
This is but even that, to start the match, it showed how we had two competent wrestlers with Mush and Merrow, but it's just too much going on. All that with Sable and making a cover up, and then the chocolates, and then her getting sent to the back, and then he calls out whatever they called him,
Maryland Dust.
Marilyn Dust, yeah.
Hold on, man. I got
Especially Marilyn Manson.
Hold on, man. I'm gonna pause for 1 second.
All right. We're recording. Why wouldn't they get into something?
Yeah, that's how it works. Right?
Yeah. Anyway, Marilyn Dust. What can you say about
this? Like Marilyn Manson. You familiar with Marilyn Manson?
I am aware of Marilyn Manson.
He was very popular in 1990.
But he just, if you've got nothing to do with Gold Dust, don't do anything. Every week it gets into the ugly section.
Yeah, and it's like, I know this is gonna build to something happening between. I know it's Sable and Merrow versus Goldust and Luna at WrestleMania. So I know that's why they're doing all this. But it doesn't make sense because it's like Merrow and Goldust are like, working together. But now that it's somehow going to end up with them in a feud. I don't know how we get there.
Yes.
Merrow ends up winning when he low blows Mosh when Marilyn Dust is being beat up by Thrasher. So hands down the worst part of the show.
It was when you consider how long that first section went, and then you had this filler match just to sort of highlight the problems between Merrow and Sable and with Goldust involved. It was a pointless exercise.
And like we do this every week. Mero comes out with Sable, makes her cover up, and makes her leave. Like, and like this time she wasn't even like dressed egregiously. She just had some shorts on. Like I didn't understand it, and I don't know why we need to do it every week. I mean, you can show Mark Mero dissing Sable in the back. He doesn't need to have a wasteless match. I don't know.
Yeah,
just so stupid.
And after that finishes, we get Barry Windham again, telling Bradshaw that he's the reason the new Blackjacks failed, and if Bradshaw can find a tag partner, then he'll see him in the ring. Ooh, we might get a match.
I thought that back and forth was really good, and then fucking Bradshaw's like losing it. He's smashing up the locker room. That was good. And then
this whole scenery fell down, didn't it?
Yeah,
that made me laugh.
Happen, but yeah.
Yeah, it destroyed the whole thing.
And then it's like they were talking to him. I'm like, I don't think he can hear you. He's too busy breaking down everything in the locker.
What they'd obviously done is they had those sort of tatty tin lockers at the back. So they put a board in front of them to make them look presentable. Then he chucked the chair and the whole lot just fell down.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what happened. He got carried away. He got ahead of himself. The next match they showed was Chainz versus.
Well, no, we see a helicopter first.
Oh yeah.
We get a vignette from Tiger Ali's thing. What about cringeworthy?
Hasn't Tiger Ali Singh been with the company for like months now? But they haven't
think so.
With him?
Yeah, but they're building up as this rich playboy, sort of $1 million man type gimmick, aren't they?
Nobody has or will ever care about this character. So
no,
it isn't.
No, maybe in India they did, but nowhere else.
I'm sure. I think he was. I know he's Indian, but I believe he's from Canada.
Oh yes, yeah.
Because his dad or grandfather was Gama Singh, the great Gama Singh. So I know he is Indian, but he's from Canada. And I know this gimmick's never going to work because I don't remember anything from Tiger Ali Singh.
No,
nothing at all.
I'm talking about things. Sorry,
no, you go.
Talking about things that don't work. And I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised when we get it. Is this war of attrition match? Because nothing they're doing is actually selling me on it. And tonight was no exception.
Glenn, this is going to be another thing we disagree on because I enjoyed this Chainz versus Faarooq match. I thought it was.
Oh no, I enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the match.
Yeah,
but it's not. It was a decent match, but they didn't need all the people around the periphery and everything else going on.
Yeah, just
to sell this war of attrition. There's going to be enough of a clusterfuck when we get to it. Without making every match that builds up to it well as well.
That's true. I did like another thing I liked is that they showed more of the dissension amongst the Nation of Domination. Kama tries to grab Chain's leg, but Chain's like he reversed it, so he ends up grabbing Faarooq's. And then Faarooq and Kama have words, and they start pushing and shoving. This leads to Faarooq being counted out. Chainz wins by count out. But just more problems within the Nation. As it looks like Faarooq and Kama are going to go to blows. But then they end up like...
just ends up with a typical Nation of Domination disqualification.
And then they get together and do the whole...
Yeah.
By any means.
Despite losing, this is the second time in a row that they've lost the Disciples of Apocalypse.
You would think they'd be more upset about that, but they didn't seem to really care.
No, they didn't seem to care. They were more worried about what they were doing with Max themselves.
Yeah, but all in all, I thought this was a decent segment because while it was like a screwy count-out finish, at least it did something to like further the story of the riff.
Another bit in my good column is what came after that. Was they showed this made me laugh. They showed the clip from Shotgun Saturday Night where there's Kurgan carrying a jobber up the ramp like a suitcase.
With by his face.
yeah.
Literally. Like this. Carrying him up the ramp by his face. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that crept into my good column because of It was just so ridiculous that they
that
threw it
fucking
in.
Dancing with the Oddities is probably the highlight of his wrestling career. That and the dancing.
Whoever is in charge of publicity for the Western Union is probably watching that and thinking, "What the fuck? They made that the Western Union Rewind of the week."
They wanted their money back after that.
Yeah.
And then I think the next thing we got was the tag team match, right?
Yep, Bradshaw and his mystery partner, which turns out to be Flash Funk.
Terry Funk's cousin Flash.
As you say,
because Terry, but he's here now.
Yeah. They're up against the NWA.
Yeah, Jarrett and Barry Windham. That's who they're taking on here. I thought this was a good match too. I enjoyed the match as well.
Oh yeah, no, again, good match. Too much going on outside the ring. Cornette being Cornette. There was no need to have the Rock and Roll Express there. They could have got where they got to with Cornette just cheating on behalf of Jeff Jarrett.
I'm going to be honest. The Rock and Roll Express's presence in this whole entire thing, the only part of it that makes sense is they wrestled at the NWA. That's it.
Yep.
They're not heels. They've never been heels. I've never watched them work heels, so I don't know why they're heels now. It just doesn't make any sense. When you see them come out and you're like, oh, they're being booed. It just is so weird. It makes no sense to me. But I thought the match was good. I thought the storyline within the match was good. They beat up Flash Funk. They take him out. Bradshaw has to wrestle the match alone.
And still wins.
Yeah, and ends up winning.
It showed him strong. And he still got beat down at the end. And left the heel standing tall, which was perfect. Yeah,
I thought this was... I remember the NWA stuff being much worse, but besides the Rock and Roll Express, I thought that it's actually been pretty well done, except for the first couple of weeks. The last couple of weeks, I think they've made up for themselves. But I don't for it being good going forward at all.
And then we get another recap of the dumpster.
We had a lot of those.
Are they just either insulting our intelligence, or do they just believe that people are flicking between Nitro and this the whole time and can't keep up with what's going on?
I mean, they do it now. They do it on Raw now. They'll show you the same replay 8-10 times. So I think they just think it's
I suppose so, yeah.
Or that's just a formula they've been running for so long that that's just what they do. Because like when I watch an NFL game, like they show the highlights, but like they don't show me the same touchdown catch, times during the show.
Okay, yeah, you imagine that during a soccer match as well, against a football match.
Yeah,
they showed the same goal or the same offside decision 100 times.
I've been putting my head through the wall.
Yeah,
absolutely, you're right. After that match, we got a phone call from Michael Cole, and he told us that hospital. Yeah, through they had the cops in there, and then the call cut out. So something. Yeah. And then my very last bad thing was Kane and Wink Collins.
Who's Wink Collins? Because I had no idea. Really.
Tell me that one, UTT Rob. If you're so goddamn smart, tell me who the fuck Wink Collins is. Let me see if you know that one, Rob. Figure that one out. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I didn't get it. Like, what did Wink Collins ever do? And what's Kane gonna prove to me if he beats up Wink Collins?
That's it.
And then Vader came out with the most confusing promo I've ever heard.
Yeah. Have you got it?
No, I don't.
Okay, that's all right then.
Okay, it's something like this. Kane! You do my business!
That's it.
I'm gonna put on your arm!
It's like he's come back from the grave.
It was just like that. And then the only way to stop Kane is to spray a fire extinguisher into his good eye.
Yes.
Apparently. Because that's what Vader did. And it worked.
Uh-huh. And several times too. Which was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I mean, it showed Kane vulnerable for the first time ever. So that was something.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, so that was my...
Especially with Paul Bearer being like a mother hen and trying to mop him down and stop him from going back. Yeah.
Oh, no! Not a fire extinguisher! If we had one of these, we could have saved your parents! Sorry. I'm sorry. Then we get to the main event of the show. Of sorts.
Yeah. This was the main event just to keep people watching to the end because they thought they were going to get a Steve Austin match.
Well, and see, on Cage Match, it's trying to tell me that this match went 32 seconds, but I don't think it did. I don't think it went at all.
I've got 26 here.
Okay, well, let's times our both numbers that we got by 0, and we'll give this match 0 seconds because I didn't hear the bell ring. Did you?
It didn't hardly get started, did it? One stunner.
Yeah, because he comes out, he's beating up Billy Gunn, who's not in the match, and then he starts beating up Road Dogg, and then gets in the ring and he starts beating up Road Dogg a little bit, and then he stuns Billy Gunn, and then the bell rings.
Yeah,
and then
it's all over before it started.
Yeah, then Shawn Michaels and Triple H come down. They start beating up Austin. They tie him up in the ropes. He's got the belt. Shawn Michaels is kind of putting it towards Austin's face. So, this is as close as you're ever gonna get. And then some help shows up for old Stone Cold, didn't it?
Yeah, we see Mummy Foley, not Mrs. Foley, but bandaged up Mummy Foley.
Yeah, Mummy Foley, yeah.
And Flash Funk come to save
Terry Funk.
No.
Not Flash Funk, Terry Funk.
Oh, no, not Flash Funk. Terry Funk. Come to save Austin.
And he's in a fucking hospital gown.
To be fair to them, they look like they'd just been to the hospital.
They did a great job of looking like this.
Neither could hardly walk.
And then, Cactus Jack looked like he still had an IV in his arm. He had the drip thing with him. My favorite was Terry Funk in the hospital gown with his big purple underwear.
Yes, yeah. Anybody who's been in hospital knows what they're like. They are rather embarrassing.
Yeah, they don't button you up in the back.
No, they don't.
They do not. So, yeah, then Austin chases the Outlaws and DX to the back, and then he ends up coming back with a DX shirt. And as the show goes off the air, he's ripping the shirt apart. I put this in my good. I know it wasn't really a match, but at least they're building more of the DX New Age Outlaw thing, and they're building the match of Shawn Michaels versus Steve Austin. And to work the whole New Age Outlaws Cactus Jack Terry Funk thing into this was good too. Roll it all up into one.
Don't you think though that the King of Hardcore match would have been better off at the end and going off air with the dumpster being pushed off the... So you don't know till next week whether Funk and Jack are alive even.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that probably would have been better served toward the end of the show because you wouldn't have had to do that long thing where you had to wait out forever for them to put him in the ambulance. So yeah, it definitely probably would have been better off to end the show. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. But all in all, this is the best Raw we've seen in weeks, I think, from 19.
Yeah. To be fair, that doesn't say a lot for 1998, to be honest.
That's true, because they've been pretty bad.
Yeah.
Up until this point. I think we got one more before we review the pay-per-view, but let's look at the TV ratings for the week, shall we?
Yeah.
Raw dipped a little bit from last week. Last week it was 3.48. This week it went to a 3.44, so not a whole lot of difference. Nitro jumped up quite a bit, though. It went from 4.69 to a 4.95, so they're almost at a full 5 points, and they defeated by the WWF by more than a full ratings point, almost a ratings point and a half. So
that it proves that first segment went on too long, and people just switched over and watched Nitro, whether you got some wrestling, no doubt.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at what they got to see. The first match that you got to see on Nitro that night was a barn burner. Ultimo Dragon took on Ray. I'm sorry, this is Ray Mendoza Jr. I'm sure it was a good match. It wasn't Rey Mysterio, it was Ray Mendoza. I'm not sure.
Oh, right.
So that was a great match.
Yeah.
And then Glacier defeated Billy Kidman, AWI Hall of Famer, one of the sexiest men that ever lived. Ice Train defeated La Parka. Then my favorite tag team of all time, Harlem Heat, and the Steiner brothers went to a double disqualification. Dean Malenko defeated Mike Enos, which whenever you say Mike Enos, I always want to say Mike.
Yes, well, we know what you want to say. Don't need it said here.
Renegade. Alex Wright defeated Super Callow. Conan defeated Chris Benoit via disqualification. And the main event of this show was... Hold on. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong goddamn year, Glenn. This isn't 1997, 1998. This is 1997. Hold on, Glenn. Hold on. Because it had Jeff Jarrett in the main event.
You just wanted to say Mike Enos, didn't you? That's what it was.
No, I swear I didn't. Okay, here's the real results.
Right, okay.
The first match was a one-winner. Juventud Guerrera defeated Psychosis.
Oh, right. That's
Ultimo Dragon was on the show, but he defeated Billy Kidman. Then Chris Jericho successfully defended his Cruiserweight Championship against Super Callow. Booker T defended the World Television title against Steven Regal. I thought that was a good match.
I bet that was
Conan defeated Hugh Morris. Scott Hall defeated Jim Neidhart. Bill Goldberg defeated Mark Starr. Steve Mongo McMichael and the British Bulldog ended in a double countout.
Sorry.
No,
sorry, I just had to laugh there. Because Bill Goldberg's opponent,
Mark Starr.
Yeah, that's such a jobber name. You know it's only going to be like 2 seconds, that match.
I'm pretty sure we saw Mark Starr on an episode of 1992 WWF Superstars. I'm pretty
Probably, yeah.
That's the different Mark Starr. Raven defeated Disco Inferno. The Steiner brothers defeated Buff Bagwell and Kevin Nash, and the main event of this show was Sting defeating Randy Savage by disqualification. I got to say, it does sound like a pretty good show.
Yeah.
But I still think I would have rather watched Raw. But that is it. That's all for this episode. Glenn, who do we need to plug before we get out of here?
Well, we've already spoken about Rob, but Robert and Dan, I'm booking the territory with a little side project. I'm booking the Tankatory. I'm stacking the Dadatory. The road to Wembley 1981 between Big Giant Haystacks and Big Daddy, the most watched wrestling match of all time, 80 million viewers. Also, there being the Elite Gator Golf, they just finished up Series 2, where they put the Gator Golf clubs away and we're doing stupid stuff in the clubhouse. And of course,
the Doctor Who podcast with Danny Inside. That's on SJP World Media.
And if you can, please give DDT Wrestling DCA Doc a bit of love. Thank you very much.
There you go. There you have it. And make sure you give the other member of our podcast team, the Mayor of Canton, a follow on X, Twitter X, whatever they call that thing now. He does a meal with the mayor every Wednesday where he's been trying ice cream, which is nice for him to try ice cream because I can't eat ice cream because
he's eating it because you can't.
He's eating it because it gives me intestinal distress. It makes my wife tell me to sleep outside. Anyway, but check out the meal with the mayor. That's every Wednesday, and give a mayor the follow on the Twitter X. And of course, make sure you check out Sports Wire Radio. Give our buddy Thomas Bryce a follow on all social media platforms. That's Thomas Bryce, Brice. It's just like it sounds. And make sure you check out sportswireradio.org. That's the website. Hit the listen live button. You hear many great shows just like ours. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. We've been stagnant at 337 subscribers for a while. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that.
Please do.
If you listen to our podcast on a podcast app such as Apple Podcasts or Spotify, give it a rating. That helps a lot when you rate podcasts. So if you could do that, that would be great. I've been doing this for as long as I can fucking remember, Glenn, and nobody gives me reviews. So somebody give me a goddamn review, okay?
Yes, please. I'd love to read out your reviews.
Just how I like to live. But yeah, I want to check out our other projects. Of course, we had the Life and Times of Psycho Sid this week, but unfortunately, We did a little tribute for him for his unfortunate passing, but he did take on Bret Hart, defend the World Wrestling Federation Championship against Bret Hart on the 46th edition of the Life and Times of Psycho Sid, which is out right now.
And aptly, we got 2 of these best promos from that show as well.
We did. We got 2 really good promos on that show. So if you haven't listened to that yet, check that out. I think that's all I have to plug. I ain't got nothing else to plug. That is it. That's all. Glenn,
That's it.
all I have to do is for you to say goodbye.
Goodbye.